welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live and England are into the semi-finals. It was tough. Did we make it tough? It was always going to be tough against Switzerland. But I do feel like there was a sense of pride restored the other day. There was more grit. There was more determination. There was more bravery. And that's all we asked for. Would we have liked to have won it in 90 minutes? Yes. But I tell you what, the drama of the penalty shootout, the equaliser from Bukayo Saka, it makes it more into a story. My hairline don't like it, but it made for a good weekend. It made for a good weekend. I'm joined by Garth Lewis and Steve K. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Very good, thank you.
And as I said, backs were against the wall, but Bukayo Saka came out firing. And we've got our main man in Saka and Mainoo, a 19-year-old, who is showing the older players that sometimes bravery is key. Garth, let's just start with you. Got the win through to the semi-finals. Should we really be looking past? Should we be looking at the performance, or is it just now about getting through to the next round?
That's a pure philosophical question. For me, football is a game for entertainment. So paying fans should be entertained by what's happening on the pitch. In reality, there's not one of these England players that's going to give two tosses about how the performance went down. They're in the semi-finals, and none of us, if we go all the way and win it, are going to give two tosses about the performances all the way through. Yeah. But for me, I mean, me and Stephen have been having this conversation all day, funny enough, about the entertainment side of football and so on and so forth. The performance for me has been very bad. Like, even that game then, I only think that Saka and Mainoo done all right. I felt there was a lot of players not performing. In reality, with our squad, I think that we should not be worrying about a team like Switzerland. I know they've done well, but we should be going into these games confident that we're going to get the win, not playing defensive football just to not lose. But listen, like I said, the bottom line in reality is we're in a semi-final of a European Championship. Like, Southgate is the greatest England manager since Sir Ralph Ramsey, literally. 2 semi-finals and a final in the last 4 competitions. Yeah, his football is pragmatic and boring, but the job's getting done out there at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm on both sides. That's a proper sit on the fence answer. I want more entertainment.
I was going to say that was purely splinters in your cheeks there, mate. Like, you was not veering away from that, man.
I want more entertainment. I really do, but you can't grumble about where we are in this competition. You can't. So, but I do want more entertainment, man. I really do.
Steve, we've seen England look a lot better in my eyes. Looked a lot better in the Switzerland game. I know the bar's not very high considering what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
but it was a Switzerland team with a Granit Xhaka who's had an excellent tournament. There's a few other players. And Doye was a constant danger, although they didn't cause too much danger. He was still a threat. Vargas, we kept him quiet, but he's had a good tournament prior to that. And Bolo, another one, we kept quiet. Should we not be looking at these things and looking at the performance that Switzerland have, the games where they've drawn against Germany, and take encouragement from this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, it was definitely better than what we've been watching. I mean, it wasn't great. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there were still times in that game where Switzerland had the better of us, and there was at points where I thought that they, when the goal came, you could see it coming, and that's not good enough really when you think about the players that we've got. But it's like Carv's been saying, we are where we are, and we all want entertainment, but I think now I'm sort of swaying a little bit because look, this is tournament football. And tournament football's different from what we watch day in, day out, week in, week out in the Premier League. You have to, I'm sort of giving Southgate a little bit of a big up here because we can't, although the football's not been great and the players have been poor, he's getting us over the line. I mean, that being said, there's a couple of bits of magic has probably helped to that, but we can't argue. It's hard to have a go at him because he's got us to like, you know, a semi-final now, a final, and now another semi-final, and all you're hearing is us having a go at Southgate. But I suppose it's very difficult to now. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. But we got over the line, and we're in the next round. We haven't pulled up trees. We haven't played anybody great. You know, you can argue and say that we could have lost to Denmark. We could have lost against Slovenia. We could have lost against Switzerland. But you know, you look at France. You know, they've not been great, have they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Through the tournament, and they're in this. You know, they're where they are. You know, Germany are out. You know, Belgium are out, and we're still there. So, albeit on the easy side of the draw, but we're there. So we do have to give them some credit. Although, yeah, I think we keep saying it. You know, we're going to have to get better. I think still to win it.
Yeah, I agree, but I was encouraged by especially the first I'd say the first half. I'm going to go and say the first
35,
half. It was definitely
first
the first
35, 40 minutes. Yeah.
Definitely the first 30 minutes, which is why it was a little bit of a worry after half time where it felt like, are we just letting them back in the game? And inevitably they got the goal. I think that's England's downfall. We can't allow teams to grow in confidence in the game. I think the way that we were attacking in that first half, we didn't allow Switzerland to get into the game too much. When they did, they had to think about us hitting them on the counter attack. Whereas I don't think we had that threat in previous games.
Did you feel though, kids? Sorry to interrupt, but did you feel it was like you say we was attacking and Switzerland were worried, but you know, taking off my arse, it was basically they was worried about Saka, wasn't it? Because it wasn't coming from much anywhere else really. It was down that right hand side.
It was coming from Saka, and we had Mainoo in the middle, who was running at defenders as well. And I think that's a difference, and I think that's something we can't forget. I know Saka was the standout player in that first half, but he can't do that on his own. If Mainoo's not bringing that other threat, then it's just Saka, and they're just doubling up, which they did to no avail because it didn't work. And the fact that they had to put two on Saka meant there was space elsewhere, which meant people like Mainoo could exploit it. You're not getting that from Conor Gallagher because he doesn't have that in his game. He's taken that out of his game, should I say? You're not getting that with Trent. He sits deep. Whereas Mainoo, when he's on the ball, we saw it in the previous game, he wants to run with the ball. He wants to get forward. He wants to be more direct. And I think that gave us two outlets on the pitch because we certainly weren't getting it from Phil Foden. Let's talk about the positives, though. Let's talk about
Phil Foden.
Garth, Bukayo Saka's... we'll speak about it in a bit. Bukayo Saka's had a lot of pelters. And it does feel like, for me, when he's doing good, he gets praise. He gets praise through gritted teeth sometimes, but he gets praise, and rightly so. But it's the moment England aren't playing well. For me, it seems like Saka's a beating stick. The moment England aren't playing well, the moment Saka's form isn't as good as you're seeing in the Premier League, you get the comments like, "Steve, I've always thought he was overrated. I don't know what people see. Is this? Is that?" The talk of Cole Palmer coming in over him, Anthony Gordon coming in, play other players over him, playing this person, playing that. He said himself, playing at left wing back isn't the answer, and then for that he got absolutely demolished by people. Get on the bench. If it's not good enough, you do what the manager said. All that sort of stuff, and it's just like. Well, he was proved right in the end. He got moved to left back. Hey, he done a job, but his best position when he played well was on that right flank where he does it best. Do you feel like he's getting a lot of pelters, Garth, or do you think I'm over exaggerating?
Yeah, I'm sorry, lads. I mean, I think you've got to take it with the caveat that coming into this tournament, he's meant to be one of our best players. This isn't like he's meant to be one of the players that is performing game in, game out for us. And this entire England team has been underwhelming, but he had I honestly do believe that both of you have a bit of an Arsenal blindness to this. Like the abuse that he gets is unacceptable. Like when he's doing well and he's not getting the credit, that's unacceptable. The bit about left back, I was of the like, listen, if the manager needs you to play left back, you can't be coming out in the press and being like, I don't want to play left back. If that was someone else that
He
weren't an
didn't
Arsenal
say
player,
don't want to play left back.
oh come on, he basically did. He basically did.
So his words exactly were, left back. Me playing at left back is
I'm not comfortable.
Answer.
Basically, he's not comfortable.
But if
the
manager makes that decision.
Yeah, I mean, exactly said. I'm not. Look, listen, anyone else said that? I think you'd be on the same wavelength. Like we've got no left back. He's left-footed. He's played at left back. From the start of this tournament, if you remember, was saying maybe that's the answer. We're playing three at the back. You have Saka on the left wing back position. Like, yeah, it's not a comfortable role for him, but neither is it for Kieran Trippier, who's playing awful football. Awful football. Listen, yes, he takes too much abuse. There's no two ways about it. I personally think that this tournament has shown that when he does perform, he doesn't get enough credit. I think that's where you are right. He doesn't get enough credit when he performs well because the game against Switzerland, he was by far the standout player on that pitch. He was magnificent. The calls for Cole Palmer to come in, though, was 100% correct at the time. After the first 4 games, he hadn't done anything on the wing. And when Cole Palmer comes on, as I said at the start, we want to see entertaining football, as not as good as Cole. Saka's clearly a better player, but Cole Palmer was taking the ball and going direct, running at players. This is why we wanted to see Gordon on the left wing instead of Foden, because he would run at players. He'd take men on. We'd all said it before this game. Saka wasn't doing that. Now, we can blame Southgate for it. You can blame this, you can blame that, but he'd been very underwhelming. So, no, I don't... Listen, the Iceland game beforehand, I said what I said at the time. It was unacceptable. It was disrespectful. It was disgusting. I don't think that the comments about Saka in this tournament have been overblown, to be quite honest with you. I really don't. I think Harry Kane's been taking a lot of stick. How many people have said that Harry Kane should be on the bench? England's leading all-time goal scorer, captain of the national team. With like, why is Tony not playing? Why is Tony not playing? Like, we've all said it. Foden's taking a lot of stick this tournament. We've all said that he should be playing. Yeah, Walker. Yeah, but I mean, what? This is what exactly what I'm just saying. He was done. Take the Switzerland game out of it. Before the Switzerland game, what has Saka done more than Foden? Not a lot.
No, not a lot. Not a lot.
So what my point is this is I don't believe that people are singling out Saka this tournament. I think we're all saying that Walker shouldn't be playing. We're all saying that Trippier shouldn't be playing. We're all saying that Bellingham is underperforming. We're all saying that Saka's underperforming. We're all saying that Foden is looking absolutely dog awful this tournament. And a lot of us are saying that Harry Kane shouldn't be leading that line. So, yeah, I do think there's a little bit of the Arsenal defence coming in here because, and not just that, he's taken a hell of a lot of stick before this as well, which automatically makes you want to protect him. Me as well. You know what I mean? My heart absolutely leapt for him when he scored that penalty. Like I said, I wanted to see a psycho Stuart Pearce celebration afterwards, running at the crowd, screaming at
He's too smiley. He's not going to happen.
He ain't that boy. I know he ain't that boy. He's a straight A student. Everyone loves him. I know he ain't that boy, but I just wanted to see it. You know what I'm saying? But long way round. No, I don't think it's been too overblown. The abuse, it's not even the criticism of Bukayo Saka this tournament, and he's proved everyone wrong. Though that bit is true because he absolutely dominated against Switzerland. So
yeah, Steve, do you think that Saka's getting harshly judged? Or do you think that it's fair in the criticism that he's been getting?
He's not been the Saka at Arsenal, but I mean, I'm definitely totally disagree with the Arsenal bias because we was on here all last season, and if you was to watch our Arsenal post shows, Garths, me and Kieran was not happy with Saka's performances, and we called him out when we thought he was bad.
Yeah, that's not.
And there was a lot of time, and so it's not
him at the moment.
There's not an Arsenal bias because, as I said, just look back on a few of our post matches last season. We was giving him 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. We're just saying you're not good enough. What's going on? What's the matter with you? So when it comes to this, if I'd sort of disagree with what people are saying, it's just basically because what I think is, I do think he's unfairly been called out. On occasions, it could be because he's the one who's meant to be standing up, but you know, and do it, and because you know, we look back at the stats in the past, and you know, he has stood up playing for England. He's been one of England's best players for a number of years now, you know, in tournaments and that. So yeah, but I disagree that he was worse than anybody else. You know, I don't think he was any Foden and Saka. Yeah, I don't. None of it. I
never
don't.
said he was worse than anyone else. It's just that he was very underwhelming, Steve. That's what they've all been underwhelming.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's it. That's it. So he wasn't.
Why wouldn't you play Cole Palmer? Why after you've seen Cole Palmer?
Because I'm just not. I like Cole Palmer, as you probably know from putting him in my team of the year. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do not see what others people see in this. Cole Palmer, I like him. He's been okay. He's done okay when he's come on. But this big furore around him that he's come on and he's changed games and asked England have looked better, I think it's utter and total nonsense. But that's not to say he's done all right when he's come on. He's done all right. This talk about replacing him for Saka, I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life. And like Garth said, he's gone and proved all these people who said that wrong. He's proved everybody wrong about left back. If he would have played left back against Switzerland, we'd be out now. We would not be in the semi-finals. Well, he wouldn't have scored the goal because he would have been playing left back. So
he may have made a maraudering run from left back, take on two players.
You know what I'm saying. No, you know what I'm saying.
No,
he's not.
What you're saying is a hypothetical that doesn't exist. You can't say we would have lost the game if he played left back. You can't say that.
Well, he wouldn't have. I mean, this is football, isn't it? You know, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, someone might else played on the right. They might have scored hat-trick. We don't know. But one thing we do know, he wouldn't have scored that goal. We may, you know, and hence if we played the way that we did, and someone would have come in worse than Saka, we would have been out. So that is the facts. So, yeah, and as I say, I don't see the Cole Palmer thing, and it's not no dig against Cole Palmer. He's not having this. I don't know where the comparisons come from. I don't mind the comparison with Phil Foden. You know, there's people say Man City have got every right to say Foden's better than Saka regarding Premier League. Do you know what I mean? You know, you can't argue that. There's definitely an argument to be taking place at one that Foden's better than people saying Saka. But Cole Palmer, please, just don't. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. But yeah, I do think it. And as you said, he's come in. He's proved people wrong. He gave some interviews and he said what he thought, and people had a go at him. But again, he proved people wrong. That first half, he was outstanding. He was the threat. He was the one that was, you know, looking to go forward. You know, make chances, trying to get shots across. You know, looking for people in the box. There was still no Bellingham. There was still no Kane. You know, Mainoo did really well, but you know, no matter what Saka was doing in that first half against Switzerland, Kane and Bellingham were, you know, pretty non-existent along with Foden. So he was the one who stood up and you know, took the game to Switzerland. So again, you got a big in from that, and he scored a magical goal that's, you know, probably kept us in the tournament.
Yeah,
so
I think, as Garth said, that goal, I think everyone was cheering. Everyone wanted Saka to bag that goal, and he did. It was a typical Saka goal, something that we've not seen in this tournament. I think that's the first time I've seen him cut inside and shoot. And it worked.
Do you think though?
Shot on target in that game for us, by the way.
Yeah. Do you think though the way Mainoo played, I think helped Saka a lot.
I think it does
because we spoke about it earlier on, and me and you and Garth, you know, I think Garth agreed as well. You know, the fact that we brought up the fact that when Arsenal, you know, the certain players do what they do to make Saka, you know, play better, you know, to do his stuff.
Yeah.
We'd never seen that. It was Mainoo was the one who was sort of doing that Odegaardy job in that area of the pitch, which was helping Saka out when he was taking players out, and Saka was able to cut in.
Yeah.
So it's not rocket science.
It's just someone moving with the ball. It's someone
moving with the ball.
Rather than passing the ball, you've got to mix it up a little bit. Someone moving with the ball, he just takes out two players because they expect him to pass it. He just gets through the middle of them. See you later, and they're they're sitting there, and that's what we saw in Mainoo. And it was just something with more encouragement, something you could hold on to, something where if times got hard, Mainoo might get the ball in out of a little cul-de-sac and win a free kick. It's the kind of thing we used to have as an outlet for with someone like Jack Grealish, where people would make fun of the fact that Jack Grealish can win you free kicks. It's actually quite important when you're talking about tournament football, especially. Winning free kicks, winning throws, winning corners, keeping the pressure on. That is important. I spoke about it before, which is why I say those wingers don't necessarily need to be the greatest wingers. They need to be wingers that are going to run at players, run at your fullbacks, run at your defenders, because it keeps them thinking, it keeps them on the back foot, and it stops them from pushing forward.
See, these are the certain players, your Mainoos and your Grealishes, right? Who, when you look at stats, won't look great. Won't look great.
They're like the middleman.
So anybody will throw stats at you and say, "Oh, look at these stats. He ain't got no assists. He ain't got no goals, and he's rubbish." These are sometimes the type of knowledge these people that they will throw at you. Yes, stats are good with certain players, but with other players, stats are absolute nonsense. You know, sometimes
it depends
ball
what stats.
They back up. It
depends what stats, Steve. Because for Kobe Mainoo, if you're talking about forward carries, if you're talking about how many times he's blocking in the defensive area, how many times he's taking
exactly.
So like I'm a stats man, so I always get defensive.
No, but what I'm talking about, Garth, the normal what you will get like
it's the stats.
It's the people. Most people who haven't got the knowledge like you, Garth. And hopefully, and us on the show, will bring up the fact that if they're not scoring enough goals and if they're not making enough assists, then ball retention don't mean nothing. Taking players out of the game don't mean nothing. You know, carrying the ball don't mean nothing. You know, oh, he ain't scored. How many goals? He scored 6 goals, and
that is usually the 2 stats they go for: goals and assists. What do midfielders do? Get assists. They got two in 45 games, mate.
You can really tell it when people ain't watched a player when they pull out stats, because the Didier Drogba one's the classic. It's like he barely scored. It's like, that means you didn't watch him, mate. Because Didier Drogba had 2 defenders holding on to him all game, so he could just lay it off to someone.
There was an Arsenal fan. And they were doing the old Rice Rodri thing. Ridiculous argument, right? But it was an Arsenal fan, so I'm calling the Arsenal. And what he said that, but how many goals Rodri scored last season? And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with anything?
Okay, go and have a look at the goals he did score. Because I bet they were like in the 84th minute, 89th minute to win it 1-0 or 2-1. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourselves. Garth, Kobe Mainoo, since he's come in, he has been a shining light for this team. He's been the fearless midfielder that we were looking for. He's been the difference in that midfield.
18 years old, man.
Yeah, just turned 19. He's 19.
19.
I think I said this last week, didn't I, lads? It's embarrassing to the Bellinghams, to the Fodens.
Not the turn. I think that's not the way I thought you was going to go there.
No, it's been embarrassing for these, and I'm not including Saka in that at all. Because Saka, although I say he's one of the best players, he's still a young player. You know, like he's still. It's the wrong way to put it. He's not expected to do the sort of stuff I'm expecting from Kane, from Bellingham, from Foden, these so-called world-class players. It's embarrassing that Kobe Mainoo, a 19-year-old, is coming into this team, and he's the one that's having to drive our midfield forward. You know what I mean? Saka's out on the flank. He does what he has to do. These players that are coming through the centre, and you've got a 19-year-old showing everyone up. Listen, I was going to get into this earlier. Like, I didn't see much improvement in the Switzerland game from England. I think I'm very worried against the Netherlands. I'm very worried against Spain or who's in the setup? Spain or
France?
France, of course it is. Sorry, yes, yeah. I'm very worried about coming out against one of them teams because I think our performances are lackluster. But Kobe Mainoo, listen, I mean, like I said a couple of weeks ago, Steve called it long ago, mate. I was like, don't bring him in, he's too young. Steve was like, mate, he's mustard. And he's been absolutely mustard. And what he does for this England team, I think you're right. I think that really did help Saka out on the flank because it meant that Saka weren't having to come so deep all game because the ball was progression forward. As I just said, the carry forwards, like you're saying, getting through the middle, taking on a couple of men. He's also got absolutely fabulous close ball control. Like he can
get out of little spaces.
You know what I mean? Like this is the sort of styles of play that we used to talk about, like the Iniestas, the Xavis, what they were so good at. Now I'm not saying before someone clips that. No, he's not on that level yet. But with everything you're seeing, I mean, we're looking if his trajectory keeps going, we're looking at possibly one of the future like best players in the world, sort of thing. Like literally, we are, and that's the first time I think I've said it. I've been very guarded with bigging him up too much because I've seen so many young players come through.
You have to say that, Garth, didn't you? At 19,
you do that. You have to say that. You called it early, Steve, man. Honestly, but I think after is I don't want to jinx it. You know what I mean? As he's a Man United, I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, listen, if Man United don't pick up their form over the next couple of years, that geezer's going Real Madrid. You know what I mean? Or he's going if you boys start winning the leagues, he's going up. Like he's going to a bigger team. Who are better at the moment? Bigger.
What did you say there, Garth? Clip that.
If you want to take it on league positions and so on and so forth, you're a team with a far better trajectory than us at the moment, in a far better space than us at the moment. We're in dire straits. So yeah, like to keep a Kobe Mainoo at Man United. I mean, from Stockport, so maybe that'll be.
I think you will. Yeah.
But we've got to improve because otherwise, with his trajectory, we're talking about a player that's too good for an 8th position team. Far too good for it.
Yeah, and when you see like the way he comes across as well, do you know what I mean? I know it's not football, but
his maturity.
You look at his maturity on the football pitch, not the way he plays. And I think I said last week he plays above his years. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes maybe you think that maybe we should be sort of. Speaking of him in sort of, in the same sentences as like the Fodens and possibly the Bellinghams in a year or two's time. Maybe we should be. Maybe he is that good.
I think we're talking about him in the brackets of Lemmy Lamau. You know what I mean?
Pedri. Pedri, the Chavis of the world at the moment. Like
he's very similar.
There's something about them, and if they continue on, then they. But we've all seen players, man, just. Their progression just stops all of a sudden. No matter how good they looked at one point, the progression just stops, and you don't know why. And
especially in midfield roles, especially in midfield roles, because it's so hard to keep that discipline. And for a player of the way that Kobe Mainoo plays, like that's why I think it's so exciting because of his style of play is so direct. It's so exciting. It's so entertaining to watch.
100%.
Someone that picks the ball up from the middle just wants to run at people and not worry about that sideways or backwards part. And that's not to dig at anyone because you need that player in your team. You need someone who's going to have that bit of balance.
Do you know what it is? He would look lovely.
Digging himself out of the rice hole.
No. He would. Do you know what? I think we was having a little bit of banter in the group, and we were saying about how many Arsenal players man you get. I tell you what, he would fit beautifully in that Arsenal side. What, and you're right there, right next to Rice, right next to Rice,
showing it right now. But can I just say, just quickly, like what you just said there, Keir? This is what I meant maybe about Saka. This it's exciting. He's getting the ball, he's running forward. This maybe not what you've seen because you know Saka so well. But in the games that he weren't playing well, when Cole Palmer did come on, he had something to prove. So he was doing that. And that's why I think a lot of people were just like, I don't think anyone thinks Cole Palmer's a better player than Saka.
No.
It's just that out of nowhere, he was ball carrying and he was trying to take a man on.
No, I completely see that.
Yeah, we get excited, you know what I mean? And maybe we get too excited.
I completely see that. It's the same as when we saw literally Anthony Gordon pick up the ball and kick it off the pitch. We were like, tell you what, there's something about this kid. There's something about this kid that I like. I really like. So I get it. And I was there, I was like, is this Sultan or something?
That was the same thing with Cole Palmer. He crossed the ball. He went straight to the first man. It was going, whoa, what a great cross by Palmer there. And the commentators like going crazy.
We'd seen the cross.
Because we've seen the cross. Yeah.
It's a great cross. I do get it because we had
like the cracker thing, isn't it? Oh, that was
Saka. We've not seen Saka be Saka for the first one. Well, it was okay in the first one. Underwhelming, but the two after that, we weren't even seeing Saka take on a man, and that was worrying for me. That was where it was getting like, now, what's going on? I've not seen Saka cut in and shoot once in this tournament. That's his bread and butter. That's his bread and butter. And scored. And he done it for the first time and scored. So do you know what I mean? That's what I was saying to you the other day. This for me could be the catalyst for Saka to push on now
Oh,
because
you took the question out of my mouth, mate. Yeah, 100%. Is that
Do
what
you think?
you think?
Do you think it was? Do you think it was because of the change of system?
yeah, no, I don't know, but I think
Because it
I
was
think
strange, wasn't it? It's strange.
I think also, look, they read the papers. They know that he knows people getting on his
Yeah,
back again.
yeah,
And I think he had the bit between his teeth from the start of the game. Like, you
yeah,
want to put
I
me at
do.
left back? You want to put me at left back?
His
Let's show up.
celebration, his celebration, his celebration
go
was
then.
that. Like
Yeah.
footballers, were always told stay away from the press. They saw how footballers dealt with the press previously, and it crippled them. This new age group, they are used to it. They're used to it. They don't take the praise too much to heart, and they don't take the criticism too much to heart. But they hear it. They're not silly. They hear it, which is why you're seeing celebrations from Havertz when he scores a goal after people have been talking rubbish about him, giving it that. We see Saka giving it that and giving it that in his celebration. This ain't Saka. Saka's a sweet boy. So him doing that is a message to people saying, I hear you talking, look what I can do. This for me was definitely the catalyst. Like we as Arsenal fans, we see Saka in the first half of the season. It was a subdued Saka. It was a Saka who was playing through the games, playing into the games to sort of get himself, and it was just like something ain't quite clicking. The buy came was the Saka of last season. It was the Saka of last season. He was going at players when he didn't work that way, he went that way, and when it didn't work that way because they doubled up, he went back that way and found some space, and that's what he did the other day. And I think that this will push him on. I think he's growing. I can't go from that performance there and then go back to a quiet performance.
No.
The least you're going to see, the least for me is you're going to see is him at least take on defenders and do that again. I think we're going to see him cut in and shoot, and he has to do that. You have to make the goalkeepers work. You have to make the defenders work, and that is what will put them out of sorts. That is what will pull them out of positions, not going through the motions, keeping it simple and playing safe. That's not going to work. I don't see that. Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna? Sorry, quickly. Do you think he's gonna have more confidence up against the Dutch defenders, when a lot of them are Premier League, especially on his side? It'll be Ake and Van Dijk on his side, won't it? So do you think that's going to be a hindrance, or do you reckon that's going to be a bonus? I think a bonus personally.
Yeah, Ake's one that usually.
I'd say
it's better than Saka.
It's
weird. It's not even the players that you might think. Ake usually gets the better of him. Tyreek Mitchell surprisingly gets the better of Saka.
Should have been in this team
through pace. I think he should have been in this team as well through pace.
As soon as you said that, Guff, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, but do you know what? I was speaking to Guff about the other day. I said, Ake's a tough defender. Ake's a tough defender. He's a very good defender, but I feel like it's another test. It's a test for Saka. He will know that Ake's a tough defender against him, and he will know that he doesn't usually get the best of him. So it will be a challenge for him. I think he's going to use his experience of previous games to go both ways. We've not seen a Saka who's even attempting to go beyond or attempting to take him on and cut and shoot. And I think we're definitely going to see that, which will stretch him. And hopefully it will give more space to other people. We've not seen Kyle Walker do anything. Maybe he can pull something out of his arse in this game.
I've seen him about 12 passes.
Is he done or what? Is he? He's been awful, Kyle Walker. I thought he was one of their worst players. One of their worst players against.
Yeah, he is 100%. A whole tournament, Steve. Whole tournament. He's
not had a good game.
A whole tournament.
He's not had a good game. He's not had a good game. Someone tried to give him a 7. I think it was in the last game because he had the least amount of misplaced passes that he's had so far this tournament. But that's definitely not the bar.
Did you see the one-time pass he tried out to the flank though? Like, mate, we're talking about one of the best footballers of his generation. Like, he's bounced mate, that's a pass I'd make rather 15 yards past him.
Sorry. Steve, we've seen Kyle Walker be poor. We've seen Trippier be poor. I was stunned with the formation with the formation change that we saw in the last game.
Looking at it like that.
Do you know what messed with my mind? I was like, he's not changed the team. I was like, that's like the team's changed. Let's say, he's not changed the team. Mark Gay, he had to come out, and all he did was shift it round a bit, so he had 3 at the back. But change the team. Now,
Yeah.
look, we saw Luke Shaw come in the end because once again, Kieran Trippier did not work. Steve, do you think we're going to see Luke Shaw start the next game?
After that, I mean, look, we all were sort of said Luke Shaw's a shoo-in. We know the class of Luke Shaw. Last season, I think it was, when he was fit, I put him in my team in the year over Zinchenko, and people were shocked. I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. I think he's a top bloke, actually, Luke Shaw. Do you know what I mean? A real top guy. He's one of the few United players I admire.
That list keeps getting bigger, Steve. They're starting at 0, remember, mate. We're on a few now.
Mainoo and Shaw.
I know you love Rashford and Bruno deep down as well. So
But no, mate.
No one loves anything.
Can't hide that.
But no. He's definitely, mate. He's got to. I thought he was excellent when he come on. It was the first time. Yeah, it was the first time the whole tournament when he was like, we looked normal. We looked something of normal shape, but the balance was, as soon as he come on, looked right.
It's a shame we decided to sit in at that point again.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But we didn't look, disjointed. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think, did he play the whole second half? Did he come on?
No, like 10 minutes from the end, he come on.
Yeah.
Was it 10 minutes? It seemed like he was on for 8.
You got extra time, remember?
Oh, of course, yeah. So it seemed like he was on for a long while. So yeah, of course. So it's just the balance. He's got to start, mate. For me, 100% Trippier. I don't know what it is with Trippier. He's been absolutely useless through the whole tournament. He's done absolutely nothing. He brings nothing to the squad. I don't even know what was going on with the team sheet, because when it came out, it was like, so he was going to be right wing back, wasn't it, Trippier, and Saka was going to be left wing back. And then when the game started,
they switched over pretty quickly, didn't it?
They switched over pretty quickly. So I don't know if it was that or something. Southgate was trying to confuse.
Mate, he looked at that right flank and saw Trippier and Walker and thought, fuck that. I made a big mistake.
I had a few more beers like that. But no, definitely.
It was the same formation. 4-4. Sorry, Steve. It was the same formation. It just had 4 at the back. I thought he'd picked the same team again. The literal first one on the BBC come out, and then someone said no, he'd gone to 5 at the back. I was like, all right, there's a little.
Yeah. But I did think Saka was going to be left wing back, and I kept talking to people, and I kept saying he's playing. All he's done is swap Trippier over to the right hand side, and he's put Saka as the left back. I couldn't work that one out. I was totally confused. But obviously, when the game started, but yeah, look, I mean, if Trippier's come off, thought the balance, I've already said, balance was better. I thought he was getting down the line. We all of a sudden had a threat down that left hand side. It was simple as that. And where we haven't had the threat all tournament, that left-hand side's been totally anonymous the whole tournament. Foden there, it's just been an absolute waste of time. But yeah, sure for me. Yeah, keep the same type of formation thing that we had, and with Shaw over that side. I wasn't too sure if Luke Shaw was ever a wing back, to be honest with you, but I think he can probably play that. But he's fit.
When he's fit, man.
It's going to have to be really fit.
An unfit Shaw is better than a completely fit 33-year-old.
The trouble is playing in a wing back position and being 70% fit is difficult for most players, and it might even be doubly difficult.
Will Southgate not go back to 4 at the back though? Now he's got Gay back.
But Constance done really well, mate. Constance done really well. I thought he was one of the top, one of their good players. I wouldn't change it.
As well. Get rid of Walker, play Constance right back.
I would.
Are you starting Shaw at left back or left wing back, Garth?
You've got to ask yourself a question, which is it more advantageous to play Shaw for 60 minutes from the start? Or the last hour? He ain't got 90 minutes in him, lads. I'm sorry. Not a semi-final of a major tournament, I don't think. I can't see him having 90 in him. And the way this tournament's been going, the way we're playing, you're probably talking 120. Yes, I would, just because we've got no one else there. But that means he's coming off 60, 65 minutes, I reckon.
Well, I'm worried about that last half hour, because we're going to try and sit in 10 men behind the ball. And
then
you're putting Trippier back there. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you save him to bring on the fresh legs, the energy with half hour to go? The game could already be gone by then. Or do you start him from the start?
Yeah, you've got to have some kind of attacking threat down that left-hand side against Holland. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't have Trippier over there against Holland. Look, you might be able to get away with it against Slovakia and Slovenia and Suburbia and all what Suburbia.
No,
You know,
it's been suburban out playing. I know what you're saying, Steve. I get what you're saying, but my dream scenario is literally that Trent plays right back. Maybe you put Walker at left back. Trippier gets on the bench, 100% get on the bench really low. Or Trent and Shaw.
Bergwijn and Dumfries. He looks like he's been sticking with Bergwijn as well. Although he usually switches him out and brings on someone else. Was it Malin he might bring on? Frimpong he might bring on.
Oh, I'd play Frimpong. He absolutely destroy him, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Frimpong would absolutely rip up anyone though. I think even Luke Shaw, Luke Shaw's muscles are so damaged, brother. If Frimpong goes past him, he might do a hammy just turning round after him. So it's tough, man. It's so tough. I'd go back to 4 at the back personally. I definitely. I didn't see any improvement in the play really against Switzerland. To be quite honest with you, lads, I'd go back to the back 4. I'd have Stones and Gay back there, and then.
So you're dropping Foden then?
Yeah, I'll drop Foden tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll drop Foden, but we'll suffocate Foden.
Of course he won't. But do you trust Foden with one more game to do what Saka did in the last game? Do you give him the last opportunity to be like? Because otherwise, you're playing Gordon out there. I mean, I personally, listen, I know you don't like this either, but I honestly, like, if you ask me, I'd play Trent at right back. I'd start Shaw at left back. I'd play Saka left wing and I'd play Palmer right wing, or vice versa. Palmer right wing, Palmer left wing, Saka right wing. I'd get Foden out of this team. I'd get Walker out of this team, and I'd get Trippier out of this team. I think all 3 of them have been a hindrance to our play. I really do. But listen, he ain't going to do that. We're talking, is it sensible to do something so drastic in the semi-final when we've got all the way to the semi-final? Like that's. Are you throwing baby out with the bathwater there?
Yeah.
Like...
I think it's time you got to go for it now, though. I mean, Holland are a dangerous side, and I think we're going to have a lot of the ball. We can't just keep, giving it to Trippier, who's not going to be up. We can't have people on the ball and not going to do things with it, or are off form, or going to give the ball away. And for me, that's Trippier, and for me, that's Walker.
100%.
I just don't feel they can play. I mean, we'll talk about the forwards, so I won't. But my backs would probably be Stones, Gay, and Konsa, with Luke Shaw for the first 60 minutes. Let's go at them. Let's go at them with Saka on the other side. That would be my what is it? 1, 2. That would be my 6. My sort of back 6, if you like, including the goalkeeper. Because I think we're going to need legs against Holland. And Trippier and Walker, for me, just don't look right. They just don't look right.
I don't know what's going on. Like Walker, Trippier, I think he's not had a good season. But I've got no answers for Walker.
It's the mental issue, man. It's 100% that. It's 100%. It's got to be his personal. I was looking at his form at Man City this season, and it's actually been really impressive. His Man City performances this year, most part. He may have had a couple of bad games here or there. It's 100% the personal life, and and let's face it, I can't even imagine that sort of mental turmoil when you've got like your missus and your mistress both in the country, like in Germany, like your mistress is in the paper every other day, saying that you're not looking after your 2 kids with her. It's like. Listen, it must be, man. It must be. It's no excuse because he's the one who done it, but that is why I think because
there was rumours that he went home with Foden. He got a private jet, so it might be a favourite.
Well, I mean, he come back refreshed. You know what I mean? That or it is a massive drop off out of nowhere, and he's just lost it, or he's carrying an injury. But otherwise, it's been so poor from him. So
well,
poor.
where's this Harry Kane?
Oh,
Bayern Munich Harry Kane.
Wow.
Where's the Ballon d'Or Real Madrid? Jude Bellingham. Where have they gone? Garth, Harry Kane. Another game where he's just not in the box. Wingers crossing the ball in, Mainoo putting the ball in, Saka putting the ball in. And there's no one in the box. It's criminal. It's getting beyond criminal.
Hey, did you see his heat map and passing maps? I don't know if you've seen them.
No, probably
not. His passing map, when it shows all the passing and everything. He's in the dead middle, least passes received. He's literally in the centre circle on that. He's got 3 players in front of him on that passing thing. His heat map is literally like the reddest
Next
bit
to
of it
Pickford.
is like, but like, honestly, it's like literally the reddest bit seems to be like from the D to the D. Like he's barely in the box, man, and it's such a detriment to our game. It's ridiculous. I don't know what he's thinking. I know what he wants to do. I understand it. He's got the captain's armband on him. He wants to show everyone that he's the complete striker. He can do everything, and he can, but not in this system. He can't. We need you on the last man.
No.
We need you pressing those centre backs. We need you in and around the box, man. Like we need you to be the focal point of these attacks. You know, because I honestly think that Kane is also a massive detriment to Saka and Foden.
Yeah.
Then they're getting, you know, I mean, everything I just said about Saka not taking a man on. Why would he take a man on if there's no one to cross it into? If there's literally no one in the box, he's just like so. Yeah, for me, I probably would play Tony. I'd probably play Tony. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not someone who stands on players should just stay in the team because, you know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely. Is that his heat map there? I mean, come on, man. That's criminal. Like you said, kid.
Should be here.
Yeah.
Penalty spot, mate.
Yeah. He's got more penalty spot than theirs by the looks of things. I can't quite.
The thing is though, let's say we drop him, right? And
not quite, but
you know, no, not quite. But and we win. We beat Holland. We get through the final. So you've got to drop Harry Kane for the final.
Yeah, that's
are you going
to?
You know,
in my head, that's mental.
But then you're going to bring him back. Then you're thinking the best striker that we have on form in England, right? That we've got. If we win and you drop him in the semis, this is why Southgate won't drop him.
No, he won't. He won't. Of course,
because he won't. Because he would have to drop him and he can't play the final.
I come from the school of Fergie. You're not performing, you're out. You know, he dropped Schmeichel, sent him to Portugal for 3 months because he weren't performing. He dropped Van Nistelrooy. He dropped Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He Fergie dropped players when there's only the selection. He even dropped Skull. He drops everyone. I'm from that school of thought. Now I know exactly what you're saying, Steve. He won't do it, and it's crazy to do it. But bottom line is, if I was Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney, I'd be like, I'll score you a goal. We're playing Switzerland, lads. We're playing Slovenia. Like he scored against Slovakia, didn't he? Yeah. We're playing Serbia. I'll put a ball in the back of the onion bag for you, Southgate. Give me some time. Do you know? Maybe not even drop him then, but these other strikers have got to start getting 30 minutes, man. And now, exactly what you're saying, it's too late. Like because because Saka hasn't played him at all through this tournament. I mean, you can't throw Ollie Watkins on there. You can't.
Yeah, no, I'm not throwing Ollie Watkins on. If I'm playing anyone, I'm playing that absolute dog, and that's Ivan Toney.
Yeah, you see his penalty as well.
That dog in him.
Yeah, that penalty is well funny as well. You see all the clips there, like, Ivan Toney reading a book, and it's just like.
See the roller coaster one when he's on the roller coaster.
Just staring at the camera. Right, so, and I honestly think that was a pure message to Gareth Southgate as well. Like, mate, you may not think it, but I am cool and calm and collected. I am him. Yeah, exactly. Here.
No, he backs himself, and I rate that. I rate anyone that backs himself.
But
look,
of course, you can't drop him. I'm just saying, in my, you know what I mean? If I'm playing Football Manager right now, it'd be out my team, Harry Kane. Because
and then you'll be out because if you lose, if the player's head's gone, you've dropped Harry Kane. The board come down before the match and ask you if you sure. Are you sure?
Yeah, you know it's crazy. But But he's done nothing.
Yeah,
listen, he's done nothing. Yeah, he scored the winner, but I mean that's an any man goal. That ain't like Harry Kane made that goal. You know what I mean?
2 goals he's scored in this tournament have been in the 6-yard box. Yeah. Get in the 6-yard box more often, Harry, and you'll score more goals. If you would have been in and around the penalty spot in the last game, we wouldn't have had to go to penalties because you would have scored. Like you have to get in that box more. It's infuriating. If it's not him getting in the box. Bellingham, get in the box. Foden, get in the box. If Saka's on the wing crossing the ball, get in the box. Someone's got to be in the box to put that ball in the net because it ain't going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen on its own.
And how many times did you see Saka get down that right hand side? You know, get the cross in, and there's no one in the box against Switzerland. Kane's not even nowhere to be seen.
And we need people in the box because against the Netherlands, you've got Virgil van Dijk in there, who's just going to be a mammoth. So what's the point? What's the point?
Did Kane
Yeah,
have
we
a
want to
shot
drag him out.
against Switzerland? I don't think Kane had a shot against Switzerland, did he? Can either of you remember
I
one?
think he had a shot.
He definitely didn't have one in anger. Yeah, he definitely didn't have one in anger. You know what I mean? One that actually meant something.
He had one shot blocked and one shot off target.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if Harry Kane was playing for any other country and Southgate wasn't the manager, he wouldn't be playing on Wednesday. I think they would drop him. I think if he was playing for Germany, I think he was playing for France, if he was playing for Spain and he was having a nightmare, he wouldn't be in the team. Especially when you've got, it's not like we've got, rubbish strikers on the bench. We've got strikers who can, are prolific goal scorers for their club. And there's no doubt that when Tony's come on, he's offered something.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Because he sits on the defenders. He makes them, lets them know they're there. The old school, let them know you're there.
And that's how you deal with Virgil van Dijk. You keep him on his toes and you do a spin on him. And that's what that's the one flaw in his game, Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, we've seen that this season, that Virgil van Dijk can get flustered in situations. If you leave him to play, he's a cool, calm Dutch player, mate. And it's going to be easy for him. If you let him get on the ball, he's going to be a danger because he can play.
And Harry Kane doesn't seem to me... Harry Kane doesn't seem to me like the sort of player that, like, there's some players that you take off, they sulk, they don't come back. Harry Kane to me feels like if you take him off you don't play for the first 60, we're 0-0 with Netherlands, and you bring him on for the last 30. Let's see how much he's putting in them 30. I guarantee he's going to be champing at the bit, and he'll do bits for us, man. But
why can't we bring Kane on? Why can't we bring him on? Look, you've stuck the place there. You've been rubbish. You've done nothing, right? We can't afford to have passengers and for someone just to get a goal in the 6-yard box when you're doing nothing else for the whole game. We need someone who's going to get behind,
I'll be happy with that, Steve. I'll be happy with that, mate. If he gets one goal, you know what I mean? Like just standing, I know what you're saying, but yeah.
But we've got, maybe if we have enough possession in these, against Holland, maybe if Holland come out us a bit more, maybe it'll leave more space and, Kane will thing. But yeah, look, I mean, I don't think it's such a crazy idea to drop him. The only thing that makes me think is that, just is it worth even having a conversation about it? Because, can you even if
ain't doing it?
He ain't doing it because, I genuinely believe another manager would do it, but I'm pretty sure Southgate's thinking, well, what happens if we win? Whatever, and Tony scores a goal.
Southgate's excuse, Steve, would turn around and be like, he scored 2 goals in this tournament. He's our top goal scorer. He won us the game against Slovakia. That'll be his argument, 100%. And that's one of them arguments where you don't actually have a response to it, but it's a load of old bull. You know what I mean? You're like, that's what you're talking about stats not meaning what they mean sometimes. Yeah, all right, he scored 2 goals for us, but he ain't done anything in this tournament, really. So,
so just quickly, would you drop him or not? Play him or not against Holland?
I'm not.
You're not playing it.
I'm not dropping it.
Yeah, I was. Kears changed my mind. I'm not
dropping him.
Yeah,
I'm not dropping him. Do you know what? He annoys me. He's frustrated the hell out of me. But what the saving grace I think we have is that Southgate has not been afraid to take him off. When it hasn't worked, although my head was spinning at the time, he still took him off. He took him off in the first game, which blew my mind, or the second game, which blew my mind. He took him off in the last game. Was that? I don't know whether that's real.
Yeah, he was injured, bro. Honestly, mate, I can't agree with that. I've been screaming for him to take Harry Kane off in multiple games this tournament.
But he took him off in the second game and brought in Ollie Watkins.
Yes, taking him off.
One game. So, I mean,
and Watkins look good. Watkins
even
that quite well.
Even that, I do think he sees the difference that Tony makes instead of Watkins. I think. You probably feel like you get a similar game out of them. However, Watkins has not got that street thuggery in him, which Ivan Toney has. He has. And look, I've criticised Ivan Toney's attitude previously, but he's one of them players that if you have him in your team, you love him. When he's not in your team, you can't stand the ground he walks on.
Yeah.
Look, right now he's in our team.
At the 3 strikers that we got, thinking about it, I would prefer Tony up against Van Dijk than Kane and Watkins. You know,
Yeah.
because I think he'd give him more problems,
more trouble. Yeah,
more trouble.
27 touches he had in the game against Switzerland, Harry Kane.
Kane.
27 touches.
One dribble.
Wow.
One dribble, mate. So he wasn't. He was ill effective. He did nothing. I was quite dubious about his injury as well. I was like, "Are you really injured?"
Do you know what we've spoken about? Every player in this England team so far, and whoever we got to come. The only player we ain't spoke about is Declan Rice, and he's like hiding behind a wall, sort of. I'm just doing all right. I'm not doing great, but I'm just.
Yeah.
No one could talk about me.
You can't really
but
talk
I'm just
about
like,
Declan Rice in the way that Declan Rice has been for Arsenal. What it's been for England.
Yeah.
He's been a bit of a water carrier. He's been a bit of.
That's use water carrier, not in a bad way. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say, here. Water
That's
carrier.
I feel like.
He's doing different. He's not like that. For
I feel
Arsenal.
like I don't want him
do
to
that.
do more either because I don't feel like he's there. I don't think he's got that confidence to do more. I think like just keep it simple and be that guy that's just going to be the bosher and just keeping it simple.
So the thing is as well, Keys, like we talk about especially last week, how in that area of the pitch it's like so congested and everybody's getting in each other's way. If Rice was to come into that area as well, like he does for Arsenal, then it'll be an absolute
crazy.
He doesn't need to, man.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. I agree, but I do feel like Bellingham needs to be a bit closer to Mainoo, and people need to be a bit more tighter so that they can do them 1-2 passes. Whereas this, look, we don't know where. I don't know what Bellingham's doing in this team. The same way I don't know what Foden's doing in this team, and then everyone else is just doing their own thing, just in their positions. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see much change in style of play. I don't think we're going to see much change in personnel. It is just a case of we're going to have to grind our way through these games. Penalty shootouts, take it.
They were great penalties. They were great
someone's ass, deflects off the side of Harry Kane's head after he's done nothing all game. But in the 89th minute, I will take it. I will be screaming Harry Kane's name to high heaven, mate. I do not care how we win this tournament, as long as we win it. Now, the flip side, if we don't win it and we play this way, he's going to come into criticism because of the way we played, because of how pragmatic he's been, and we will be looking at saying it. So, yes, you have been the most successful manager. However, when you look at it, when you break it down, your record against top 10 FIFA teams is not great. When you look at it, when it comes to the crunch against in the latter stages of the tournament against teams we could have beat or got something out of, we haven't done anything. And when we've taken leads against them teams, you've been shown that you don't have the bravery to push through and get that second goal and finish off that team. You want to sit in no matter what time that goal has been scored and allow pressure back onto us. And inevitably, it's been to the detriment of the team. Yeah. So
I've got a question for you. I've got a question, right? If Southgate wins the UEFA, does he stay on?
No.
I don't keep him on. I think it's time to move on from Saints.
I'm beginning to think it, and I'll tell you why. There's a reason. I don't rate him, right? And I don't like the way he plays it. But when you see the managers that are linked to take over from him, I'm like, yeah, maybe we should keep Southgate.
Yeah, look,
I've heard Potter, Carsley.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'd have Potter over Southgate.
So would I. And look,
I don't know,
the one I worry about is the England yes man again. Is the Carsley. I don't think moving from Southgate to Carsley is an upgrade. I think it's a downgrade moving from Southgate to Carsley. I've not seen anything under Carsley in the under 21s that's exciting me. That's saying yes, this is the team to go. Southgate correct me if I'm wrong, under the under 21s got to a final.
Are you talking about Lee Carsley? Is it like that we're talking about here?
Yeah, he's under 21s manager and has been for a while.
Oh yeah, sorry, Steve. Yeah, no way, mate. Not him.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I mean. And it's not surprising that he's been linked. It's not surprising. But Graham Potter, I look at what he's done in is it Sweden, taking a team from the third division to Europa League knockout stages. That when you've got talking about tournament football, I think he'll be a bit more braver. He tries things. A lot of his time at Osterstadt, I think it was based off of mentality, team togetherness. So it's things like that which make me feel like Potter could be someone who
Mm.
would work for England. I know
Eddie Howe.
Again, I'm not a big fan of Eddie Howe,
Not a big
but
fan,
in the short term
No,
that
me
he does
neither.
have with teams over a short period of time, he's proven to do well. Newcastle done well in the first couple of seasons. It looks like it could be.
Oh no, he'll be playing Trippier. He'll be playing Kieran Trippier. He will. He's back in the squad.
Bournemouth, we saw that in the first couple of seasons with Bournemouth, he looked like a very exciting manager, and I think you'll get that with England as well. Short space of time, he's a very good technical manager. I just don't understand why it seems to fall off after a while. He's also very disciplined. He's a bit of a disciplinarian, Eddie Howe, as well. I've heard very many quotes about how he's very to the point.
Is that when the drop-off happens, though? Is when he starts getting more flamboyant players, better players in bigger players? You're like, who are you, mate, to try and discipline me? Like,
maybe it could be.
Listen, I'd go if we're going to get Lee Carsley, who's Irish, get a foreigner in. I'd go straight out for Poch, man. I'd just go straight out for.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the difference.
I hear about Cooper as well, and I'm like, he's Welsh, isn't he?
Cooper,
like you can't have a Welshman managing England.
Carsley's Irish, mate. You can't have him in there.
No, I'm saying no Carsley. I'm saying no to Carsley. Like,
but that's where we're looking now, isn't it? We're looking at Potter. We're looking at how are they really that much better than
me? Potter for me, man. I think he's good. I do think he's good.
I think Potter.
I think he made a bad move going to Chelsea. I think
Chelsea's a bad move for everyone.
That was a wrong move.
Like he got his payday 100%.
He got his haircut, new coat, new shoes.
Building something. It was building something, and he threw it away for the. I get it. We'd all do the same. You know what I mean? Like, Champions League, like the players I get to work with, the money I get to spend. But I think it was a bad move for him. And would he do as well as Saka? Maybe not. I just think you're going to get much more enjoyable football. More enjoyable football.
I think Chelsea, as we know, Chelsea's a poison chalice. Look, you go in there and immediately it's player power, and it's never going to change because of the players they want to bring in at Chelsea. They want to bring in big names. They've got big attitudes and big egos, and you can't bring in a holistic manager, as they said, from Brighton to do that job. It needs to be a big ballsy manager with a lot of experience behind him that can tell them about themselves. Chelsea need big managers. They can't have the up and coming. They can't.
So it's the World Cup, isn't it? It's the World Cup in 2 years. So whoever the next manager comes in has got to get us through the qualifying stages, and then take us to the World Cup. So they've got to be decent. They've got to be
they've got to be taking us into the European Championships as well, because that one after that's going to be at home, and we've already decided that we're not going to go for the automatic spot, which I don't think we should do. But we can't be not getting into the European Championship in our own home ground. That'd be devastating. This manager's coming in and he's going to have a lot of pressure.
I'm going to change my mind on Steve Cooper. He was born in Pontypridd. That's my family's hometown. So, like Steve Cooper for England manager.
He sounds Welsh, though. He sounds Welsh. He's not even like
Pontypridd's proper Welsh, mate.
It's not even like he
Tom
proper Welsh.
Jones is from Pontypridd. I'll have you know. So Tom Jones is from there, and my family's from there. So good people come out of there. That's all I'm saying. Good, strong characters come out of Pontypridd. You can't. You need an Englishman in there, I think, if you're not going to go for a big name. And apart from everyone else, you said, Steve, I agree with you. Awful. Potter, I can see that. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's an upgrade on Southgate. I don't. But for me, Steve Potter is an upgrade. It is.
Do you know what'll happen, Mark? Wherever we may be, after we win the final, we'll be in our pubs or at home with our beers. We go, yes, Southgate to stay. Keep him in. Keep him in.
Southgate, you're the one. You still turn me on.
Potter? Who's Potter? How get out of it?
Fickle England fans. Just a little story before we go. Jude Bellingham speaks up again. Jude Bellingham's words previously could come back to haunt him as Arsenal. I wish he was at Arsenal. England have got a referee he previously drew out about his match fixing allegations. A little bit of a worry there, Garth. That previous comments from Bellingham could come back to haunt him.
Yeah, it shouldn't, because referees shouldn't have that in them. But I mean, for me personally, this is when I get a little bit like, I wouldn't allow a German referee to manage an England match. Period. I wouldn't allow it, because the
Too much history.
animosity, too much history, everything. For me, that's you know what I mean? No matter how English I am, we come up against Germany. I want to see. I know some people are different in our group, like, but I don't want to see Germany do well ever. I don't want to see Argentina do well ever. Like, I don't want to see France do well ever, and that's because it's deep ingrained. Now, you hope he's going to have none of that, and you hope that. I mean, did he actually get done for match fixing? Because I think that's the biggest issue for me. That if he's actually been done,
I believe.
like.
I believe he actually was.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I think he has, and that's the biggest issue for me. Not putting him in the
Criticised
same-
over match fixing in
He
the
was.
park.
He was done. He was
Yeah.
done.
He was done for it.
He was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
That's disgusting that he's in charge of such an important game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
and Bellingham is well within his rights to have said whatever he said at the time, whenever he said it, because
It's UEFA for you.
yeah, you've been caught being a cheat, and you're like footballers doing it, like kicking a ball out to get their friends to win a few £1,000 here and there. It's disgusting, but it never really bothers me. Match officials, match fixing, it's unacceptable. They should never be like, you get caught once, you should never be allowed to.
I was quite surprised when I heard
game.
that story because they mentioned it because he's obviously refereed in other games, and they brought it up in that where he did get. They brought up that he got a fine for match fixing, and I'm stunned that he's been allowed to officiate a major tournament. Absolutely stunned.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. I really do not understand it. So look, I'm not going to start throwing out excuses already, but look, I think UEFA, you need to take a look at yourself if you're bringing in match officials who have been done for match fixing, and they're sorry, I kicked out the wrong one. And they're being allowed to officiate in not just a major tournament, but in the latter stages of a major tournament. Like, yeah, we shouldn't have the reasonable doubt, as they would say in Law and Order. We shouldn't be having that.
But that's the problem. Though you've really said that's exactly the problem. If he does anything that either side thinks is dodgy, it's always going to be tainted. It's always going to be tainted.
And there's going to be in there. There's going to be something that's dodgy. You know, you're not going to go. You're not going to go through a whole game.
Contentious, dodgy. What? Yeah, exactly.
So just on that, that's just on that alone, you shouldn't be having someone like that. I was that shocked. Do you know what I mean? I was really shocked to know that what this guy had done, and I was a little bit unsure. You know, was he charged for it and then found not guilty? But when I found that he was charged and found guilty for it and done for it, I was like, how are you allowing him to do that? It's just as simple as that. It's crazy. Madness, man. It's madness now. But you know, hopefully we get through, and then it's France or who is it?
Spain.
Whoa.
I mean, it's crazy to say it.
I think I
want France.
It's
mental. It's mental to say because France's team. But I want France. Spain are too attacking. They're too attacking. They've got too many youngsters in their team which are fearless. Lamel Yamal, Williams. I mean, Morata doesn't get much credit, but he's been better than Harry Kane.
The midfield though, Rodri and Ruiz.
Ruiz. I remember when Arsenal were linked with Ruiz. I was like, who's this Ruiz? Get him away from my team.
Even the guys who scored that, Marino's good, man. Even the guys who come up their bench,
I was talking to someone in another group. I was talking to
someone this tournament.
Colleague in another group, and I was saying, God, this Ruiz is a good player, isn't he? Actually, he's been shit all season. He's been shit for PSG all season. I was like,
football.
But no, I'm real. And where's Cucurella's form come from?
Yeah, I know.
Cucurella.
That's pencil season.
To be fair to Cucurella, towards the end of the season, which is why he got into the squad, his form picked up massively. But now back to Ruiz. There was one bit in the last game where he dropped his shoulder to go that way.
Oh yeah,
two players just went that way. He went back that way, ran into the edge of the area, and I was like, "Shoot, you deserve to shoot." He tried to pass it.
The Spanish extra pass.
Yeah, and they were like, that bit of skill deserved the shot, and it did. And that's what he's been doing all tournament.
We're not.
The only bonus we got, lads, is that if it is Spain, Yamal might only be able to play 60 minutes because of them employment laws.
Take it to extra time, and then get onto the German law. Say this is not right. This is not.
We ain't getting past them, though. We ain't getting past either of these two, are we?
No.
I mean, do you know what I mean? Them two teams. I think I'd rather play France. You know, even though they've got the best centre back in the world on their team, but. Yeah.
Upamecano's not that good, is he? He's all right, Upamecano, but I didn't think he was world's best centre back, Steve. To be quite honest,
Upamecano's
He has been good though, Upamecano. To be fair, he has been really good.
Upamecano's had a poor season, but in this tournament, he's Upamecano. But I think
he's one of the players that when he's good, he looks really good.
Yeah, and when he's not, he's clumsy. He's bundling through players and giving away free kicks and penalties.
Mbappe's been poor,
very quiet. But again, it's Mbappe. But then you've got to worry about players like who aren't playing. Turan, he's not been playing, but when he does play, I think he's been unlucky not to start. Like I think he's a danger. He's a constant threat. He's a big unit. He's got pace. He can dribble the ball, and he likes to have a shot. Dembele, when he comes on, he's played.
He's done well. When
he comes in,
Dembele's looked good for me. Yeah. Dembele. But again, this is that French team, isn't it? All of them, apart from Mbappe. When they play well, they look really.
Hernandez, although he looked a bit shaky in the last game, he's been excellent previous to that.
Kunde's
outstanding.
An absolute weapon. And he's been playing at right back. So you talk about his fashion.
He's another player who's got absolutely walloped last season when he was playing for Barcelona. If someone was talking, I was talking to Jason Pettygrove, friend of the shows. He was a big Barcelona fan. He used to work for Barcelona. He was saying to me, "Has been shit all season."
Barcelona's a different sort of pressure, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? You have a couple of bad games and it's over for you as a player, almost like.
It really is. It really is. They're looking to get you off the books after two average seasons.
He's looked solid, isn't he? He's looked solid.
He looks like. I think there's been links to a few clubs. Whoever gets him is getting a really good player.
United were linked with him. They
were linked.
A couple of years ago. I don't think we're in a position to get Kunde at the moment.
Let's talk about some of the transfers that are happening now before we go. Man United look like they're on the brink of signing Joshua Zirkzee. Steve, tell us a little bit more about this deal before we go to Garth with his opinion on the player.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a release clause. I mean, Manchester United, they're close. There isn't any problem. Personal terms are virtually agreed. There's something to do with personal terms that's not, actually fully done yet. Maybe it's the size of his ass or something that he's going to get, or something I don't know. But this one, I think, this will get over the line. This is done. Ten Hag's been over there on a couple of occasions now. Had conversations with a player United were interested in last year. So I'm assuming this ain't an Ineos one. It tells me like Ten Hag must have some kind of say still in, who's going to come to the club and who ain't, which is good, I think, which is good. It's good to have a relationship with your owners and stuff. And but just Zirkzee. Don't know too much about the player. Garth might know a bit more. I haven't seen anything of him. But young, 23 years old, and from what I know, this is done. This is over the line, and he'll be a Man United player next season without any shadow of a doubt. It'd be interesting to see what plans they got from him, because this is something the Garth would know more, but how he will use them. Will they play two up front with Højlund? Is he blah? But it'd be interesting to see what Garth says about that.
Garth, Joshua Zirkzee, good signing. I know a few Arsenal fans that when he was linked were quite excited about the prospect of him coming in. It looks like he's off to Man United.
Yeah, I mean, I said everything I'm reading says it's done. You know what I mean? So, basically done. I think the biggest thing with Zirkzee is the price is right. That's what I keep saying. 33 mil for a striker in the modern game in this environment, in the transfer environment, is basically a bargain. From what I understand, I haven't watched the last of him. He's Steve's already hit the nail on the head. Like, it feels like they're bringing him in to play two-man up top because he would complement Højlund very well. Højlund's the last man striker. Zirkzee's very much drop a little deeper, receive the ball with his back to goal, as you saw in some clips there. Spin a man, spin round, play it out wide, play it here. His finishing a little bit questionable, but listen, his first season in the top league was last year. Like, people in one of my groups keep saying, "Oh, he's not even getting in front of Memphis Depay. He can't be that good." And it's like, listen, you got to take different things in the context here. He's brand new, like to the his debut for Holland was last game. That was his
Yeah,
debut for
You
Holland.
can't. I mean, Ollie Watkins is on the bench for England.
Yeah,
So yeah, it sounds weird. I've got a strange feeling that we may see 2 up top for Man United next year. I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, first thing that came into me head, because I could not work the signing out. Because the year I said to you, I mean, I think we got a little bit crosswise. Like my sort of, I was using backup, but which was sort of like
he's not bad.
My backup means someone coming on, making an impact. So that was Højlund's your main man. Why are you buying him? So first thing he's thought, maybe it's 2 up top because he's too good.
If he's willing to come in as backup rotation, like that, then fair play, But again, it's that price, man. That's what it comes back down to. For me personally, at 33 mil with the talent he's got, he's a young and up and coming striker, just turned 23, like you said. I think it's more the price than anything. Obviously, Ten Hag likes his Dutch players as well. So
what is it with that? What is it with it?
Listen, his hold-up plays outstanding as well. So maybe it is just competition for Højlund, who didn't have a bad season last season, but he certainly didn't set the world alight. And this tournament, I mean, we can't take too much on how people played in this tournament because a lot of players played bad, but he has not looked good, Højlund.
Do you know why I think he might play 2 up front, Garth? Is because Manchester United wasn't the only club in for Xerxes.
Yeah.
So he's had conversations with him. And AC Milan and I think Juventus might have been knocking around, and I'm not 100% sure of the Arsenal links, but maybe he was. If that was
Steve, he turned Arsenal down, mate, to come to us. That's going
to be the story, isn't
it? Arsenal, going to the biggest club in the world, lads.
No, but it sounds like he's been told that he's going to play, or he's going to get plenty of games.
So I don't. This is my point. I don't know why he'd come if he isn't getting minutes promised to him,
especially with the clubs that are after him.
The other thing is maybe Højlund's dropping to the bench, perhaps, because Man United's team is not set up to play 2 up top with our midfield. Like, who's playing in that centre midfield? Mount and Fernandes?
We've got to remember that do you see Rashford going? Do you see him going?
I don't see him paying his wages, man.
I don't see him going. So I see a world where you're going to see a Xerxes and a Rashford, and maybe they're doing it to see a compliment in Rashford as well. Look, I've said my piece before on Højlund. I think he's a player who's a decent prospect, but I don't see him being a world beater. I know he's still young, but there's parts of his game where I don't think parts of his game where the instinct to maybe open up and be more composed in a position, I don't see him have it. I see him having snapshots, don't have time to think, kind of scoring goals, and he might score goals like that. There's always room for that player. I think I spoke to Garth last week and said, he reminds me of a Dirk Kuyt, someone who will eventually play in multiple positions up the top and work hard, just be an honest player, work hard, get maybe important goals, but he's not going to be your main man, out-and-out striker, week in, week out. Because I feel like he snaps at shots. I feel like he sometimes just hits it when it needs a bit of composure. But again, that could come with time. But I don't think you get that time.
One thing I will say about him, I mean, there's no banter involved there. I mean, he's not coming to an absolute what would normally be a Manchester United team full of confidence, flying high at the top of the league. When you get a 19-year-old, someone like of Højlund's ability, he's probably had too much pressure on him.
Oh, I said the same thing, man. I said the same thing, Steve. Yeah. You can't have him leading your line when we're playing point. The only thing, listen, we're going to move on quickly. The only thing I'll say about this Xerxes is from everything I've seen of him, it doesn't feel like he's a lone striker in any stretch of the imagination.
It's a strange one, isn't it?
It's strange, man.
It's not.
Unless the rumours of Fernandes is going. That's the one that I can't keep going back to, because obviously, apparently, our Etihad want to spend 100 mil on Fernandes, which I would take. As good as Fernandes is, we need that money. So unless it's Ten Hag's completely changing his system, we're going to see Fernandes move on. I'm stunned at how... I agree with Steve. I don't know what Ten Hag's thinking, how it's going to work. So
it'd be interesting to see what, that first game or the first few games, what his plans are for him.
Yeah,
we need one striker, so we need more strikers. Bottom line.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wouldn't write off Man United bringing another little bargain. They need goal scorers.
I I think you're going to see a shock one day from Man United. Someone's going to shock you. You've going to leave that you don't think would leave.
Yeah, well, we've seen Casemiro said he wants to stay and he's apologised for his performances last year. I mean,
of course he wants to stay because his agent's been out there going, anyone want Casemiro? Like, 300 grand a week? No, we don't want Casemiro. Like, drop that to 150. We might want Casemiro, but otherwise, no, can stay in Manchester, mate. Like, funny how it's now like, oh, I love it in Manchester. Like,
yeah, do you know what? I don't need the warm weather.
Like, my fitness was a little bit down, but I'm going to come back fitter and stronger. Don't worry. Like,
another player looks like yeah, go on, mate. Sorry.
Another player looks like he could be coming into Man United. Is Darius Balit. Since his time at AC Milan, where he was regarded as one of the best up-and-coming centre-backs in the world, moved to Juventus, didn't quite work out the way it was expected, and then furthermore, a move to Germany, where he would have thought he would be a bit more comfortable, has also not panned out the same. I think he's a player I really like. He was one of my favourite up-and-coming defenders a few years ago at Ajax. I think he needs to be in a team which suits his style of play, which is quite aggressive. He can play on the ball, but they need to fit a defence around him. You can't be having someone you're expecting to maraud out of defence and into midfield. You're not going to get that with De Ligt. What you're going to get is you're going to get heart on your sleeve defending and someone that can play out of the box. An upgrade on Harry Maguire, should we say. Yeah. So, Garth. Oh, sorry. First, start with Steve. Steve, could you let us know a little bit more about this deal?
Yeah. I mean, this is very similar to the, what I said about the Josh Yazurki one. I mean, this is another one that, from what I've been heard that it's done. It's over the line. I got first, word that Manchester United really wanted De Ligt back in February. Did an article on it, put it out there, and they've been talking and ever since. And De Ligt's made his mind up very early on, in the season that he wanted to come to Manchester United. So there wasn't much work to be done once the season was over. Personal terms have been agreed. De Ligt wants to play for Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. He's someone who will be given a field at a start. Ten Hag wants him, to form a partnership next to Martinez. That's the plan. They're still looking for other centre half. Basically, just because Martinez and De Ligt, as good as what they are, if you could get a whole season out of them, then I'm talking about that. They and Shaw can keep fit. Still thinking they might need a right back, but that would be some strong defence to go, to fight for that Champions League spot next season. I'm pretty sure of that. But they're still looking for another one because both of their injury records are not 100%. But so they do want another striker. Hence why they've been trying to get the price of Gareth Braithwaite down, because they really like him and want him. But this is done. This is very similar to the Zerkzee one. De Ligt will be a Man United player next season without any shadow of doubt.
Garth, Matthias De Ligt, solid prospect. It's always nice to get one of them players that was a hot prospect.
Yeah.
Then they didn't quite work out the next move, but then they come to your club. I love them signings. It's all well and good getting the player that is the big prospect, but not getting them and then getting them on the rebound is always
like Kai. Like to think.
Yeah, there's loads of Arsenal. Well, we had it with
Bergkamp.
Bergkamp. We had it with Alexis Sanchez. Henry. That was our bread and butter. Was getting the player that was the prospect that didn't quite do it in his next club, and then it's come to us.
We're talking about Man United here.
Man, listen.
We're going to Arsenal for
talk about Henry and Bergkamp. We can do it all day. If you want to talk about Havertz, I'm leaving the show. There's a different one. I'm having that comment. But no, listen. I like De Ligt a lot. I think a lot is made of his injury record, and it's not that bad at all. We had a bad one last year, but other than that, it's normal injury. Like it really is. It's a couple of knocks here and there. Defenders get knocks. If he can stay fit, there's a bargain at 42 mil. And
100%.
He's a solid defender. He's a quality defender. Yeah. He's still only 24 years old. In all honesty,
he's a leader. He's a leader. That's one thing I got from him when he was at Ajax. He's a leader.
It's one of them things. Everywhere he goes, he breaks for records. You know what I mean? He's like second youngest ever goal scorer behind Clarence Seedorf. Like at Juventus, he's this, he's that. Like, yeah, it feels like he falls out of favour. Like he always seems to have a good first season. I mean, Bayern he had an injury, but you know what I mean. Like, and then all of a sudden he's on his way again. So that's the only worry I've got, which is. Does his form dip after that first year? Is he one of them players? I didn't really watch him at
Or is it his
Bayern.
personality? Is it
Is it
great
his personality?
Is it?
Yeah, does it great? But listen, if we're just talking about the player and his actual playing style, he's absolutely awesome. He's absolutely awesome. He'll be a quality signing. And if we do get him, then I don't want to hear about Branthwaite anymore. I really don't, because Martinez and Branthwaite, Martinez and De Ligt. No, I'm not saying it's wrong, Steve. I don't want to see us.
No.
You'd rather go and get another bargain.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's Man United. The ideal thing for Manchester United would be to get Braithwaite for something like 35 mil or something, or like just a 40 mil.
Yeah, we're talking about doubling that, isn't they?
Yeah, they're talking about doubling
35 mil. Then yeah, I have Braithwaite. But yeah,
but no. My point was that because of the injury record, he's a bit unsure of. They do need, unless they look at Maguire as a backup. Maybe they think, well, if we can't get someone in a good price who we, one of our targets, then they'll sell Maguire if they do. And if they don't,
like it, lads. Yeah, I ain't gonna like it, but I tell you, I'd be sniffing around, mate. It's Ben White. If you're buying Calafiori with Timber back next season, because he ain't gonna be getting minutes. He ain't he's going to be a reserve player because Timber's taking that right back spot. Calafiori's taking that left back spot.
You keep saying Timber's taking that right back spot, yet Timber's playing left back.
You're buying Calafiori. You're buying Calafiori.
Yeah, mate.
Where's
he's right.
If you've got Calafiori,
I don't see Ben White losing maybe much game time. Maybe selling a Tomiyasu. Like there's other players in that team.
Ben White last year. I thought he was your first choice right back when he was fit.
Ben White played pretty much every minute.
Timber is twice the player. Ben White. He's going to come in and take that spot, make it his own, and then when does Ben White play?
Yeah, but again, this is all. I just don't see it. I just don't see what you're seeing. You've spoken about no.
But we do need.
You keep saying that Timber's going to be playing at right back,
don't we?
Yeah, every time he's played for Arsenal, he's played at left back. So I just don't see it's as cut and dry as what you're saying. It's Timber's in, Calafiori's in. Then Ben White's got to go. I just don't see it. I don't see that.
If Arteta plays Timber left back anymore, he doesn't deserve Timber. He doesn't deserve him. He's treating him poorly.
He got goal of the month. He got goal of the month in his second game back from playing left back, wrapping it in the top goal score, top corner of his
I don't care, man. I'm having it.
I'll take it.
I'm having it. You're doing the man dirty, but no. All jokes aside. Sorry, Steve.
No, go on, mate. No, it wasn't. Go on, carry on, mate.
No, I'm literally just going to say, I don't want to see Man United going out. Ben White obviously ain't at me because he's big money as well. I don't want to see Man United going out and buying big money defender when we need other places in the team. We ain't got a lot of money and we need to strengthen them. But like if we get De Ligt, we've got Martinez. I was saying this to someone in the group. You've just got to hope that the medical team is right when they've done the assessment on his knee ligament injury, which is what took him out of the Bayern team last year. That it's healed and it's fine. And other than that, I don't want to going and spending 40, 45, 50, 60 mil on another centre back because it's just pointless to me.
I mean, would you be? I mean, I know he gets a lot of stick, but would you accept for a season Maguire as your backup?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought he done well last season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want. When I say done well. I mean, like, I'm not saying, but he seemed to do it. He done a job. Didn't he?
Harry Maguire's best performances for Man United is when he's been written off and he doesn't have the pressure of being the £80 million Harry Maguire. I'd sell Lindelof and have Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire as backup with Kambwala as the third choice backup, and you just got to hope, especially with Luke Shaw fit again because he can play centre back. You just got to hope that they stay fit. We're not in a position right now to have 4 top quality or even 3 top quality centre backs where one sits on the bench for a long period of time.
I think you need a left back as well. Do you think you need a left back as well?
I'm hearing about Chilwell. Like, why have 2 injured centre? Why have 2 injured left backs when you can have 3?
I mean, the names are getting banned about. Ain't bad, but
I've got a story about Chilwell, but after the show.
The final one.
A new left back.
And
only
Ferdy
one.
Kekalogu would be a good buy for United. as
Yeah,
left back.
Freddie Kekoglu. He's had a good tournament, and he's looks good for is it Fenerbahce?
Yeah,
I think
that's right. Yeah,
Yes,
Looks like a good player. Looks like a good player.
Turkey. He's been one of the best players.
Yeah, he has
in
been.
the Euros.
And before we go, Ricardo Califori, Arsenal trying to negotiate a fee with Bologna, looking in the region of about 50 million euros, 55 million euros. A player who I was very impressed with for Italy in this tournament. And then out of nowhere, Arsenal were pushing forward to try and sign him. Steve, a little bit more on that deal.
Yeah, again, very similar to the Zerki one, very similar to the Lit one. This is one that's virtually done. Personal terms are agreed, fees agreed. We think it's for around about 50 million. It's just that Arsenal now and Bologna are just working out, the structure of the deal. What Arsenal are like. They do love a bit of structure, don't they? When they paying their fees. There's always seems to be a problem around the structure of their deals, but that's all it is. From what I'm hearing, the deal again is literally virtually done. California doesn't want to go anywhere else. He's told people at Bologna he doesn't want to play for anyone else apart from Arsenal. Chelsea have been in for him. PSG have been in for him. A number of other clubs. One for me, this one's come out of the blue from nowhere. First time I must be honest with you, I see him was in the Euros. I was like, wow, this is the player. This is, and then before I knew it, Arsenal were in for him, and from someone that I'd never heard of. We was in talks and about to buy him, but I certainly was pleased with him because the guy looks a player. And since then, I've done a bit of research on YouTube and watched a couple of the games of him play. Asked a few of our Italian friends, what's he like, and so he sounds like a player, sounds like a beast. So he can play anywhere. So another one that's literally done. But it's interesting, conversation we just had. What's Arteta's plans for him? Where's he going to play? I'm told I was speaking to guy from Sport Italia named Gianluca Glongari. He was telling me he can play left back, but ideally his best position is at centre back.
Centre back, it is. Yeah, he said it himself, Steve, as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it looks like he looks like a centre back that runs that moves with the ball, which is a very progressive centre back, which is what Arsenal needed. Look, we saw Gabriel and Saliba play pretty much every single minute of Arsenal for Arsenal last season. So there's definitely room for rotation. There's definitely room for competition in that team.
You need it now as well. That's your next step as Arsenal. That is your next step.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit like it's hard to adjust. Do you know what I mean? We're a one in, one out kind of team at the moment. Whereas when you're bringing in stockpiling this level of quality in your team,
quality talent,
you're not used to it. I'm not used to it. And I'm looking at players like Jakub Kiwior, I think he's had an impressive first season at Arsenal, and I'm worried for him. I'm like, what's going to happen to him? He's been deployed at left back for half of the time and not really played centre back much. Does he really have a place in the squad anymore? Like, I don't want to get too close to these players because it feels like you're losing something. But
do you know my biggest worry?
That's where we're at now. That's where we're at.
Do you know my biggest? Is it a worry? Do you know what I mean? We want to win.
So if it goes to Real Madrid.
Well, yeah, no, really not that one. But you can see like there's a pattern developing here. There's definitely a pattern developing because it seems that Man City play centre backs all across the back. Either they're a right back or they're a left back. They're all centre backs, and this sort of is going along with that sort of trait, isn't it? Bringing California in, a left back who can play centre back. You've got Ben White, who's a left back that can play centre back. So, for me, it looks to me that California is going to be that left-sided centre back, left-sided thingy over there.
And if you look at Man City and what they've done, they rotate. How many seasons? How many seasons have we gone through the summer and spoken about Nathan Ake's potentially going to move? Nathan Ake this, Nathan Ake that. Yet he ends up being one of their best defenders and getting 30 plus games a season, because he's a player that you always forget about, that you always think could be upgraded, when actually those solid players that are consistent are instrumental in the team. They are needed. So I do think it's more of a case of just adding an extra layer of quality. It's not necessarily going to mean that someone's got to go out, especially when we've got that injury record of players like Tomiyasu. And look, Zinchenko, who could potentially be moved on this summer as well. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. It's going to be a busy summer, exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing some more forward-type players that Arsenal will be bringing in. Because this defensive side of stuff is quite boring.
I can get you on the phone with Man United. We've got a delicious attacking right midfielder. He's Brazilian. He's young.
Stop there. Stop there. Nah. Unless you sign Rodrigo on the sly, mate, I do not want that fool, Anthony.
Have you seen his skills, mate? He can pirouette in the middle of the pitch with the ball. Honestly, bro, he is
without the ball, he pirouettes.
Pirouettes without even touching the ball. It's unbelievable skill with that one.
Yeah.
Like some of the best celebrations you'll ever see against League 2 opposition. Like...
yeah, we're good commentary.
Before, honestly, sorry to keep going. Is there any truth to this rumor about Jadon Sancho and Arsenal, Steve? Anything at all? I keep seeing it pop up everywhere. It'd just be such a random signing for me. That would be. But...
No, I can't see it. I think Jadon Sancho is one of these players who wants to start. He doesn't want to come in, and I'm not saying he couldn't start for Arsenal, but you know what is he? He's a right-sided player.
The left wing again, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was like. What this whole beef is? He don't want to play on the left wing anymore. So
yeah. I think Arsenal are good finding it difficult at the moment. We got with forward players because they've got this difficult of their forwards.
Saka on the right. They've got
because you've got Martinelli on the right.
On the left.
You've got Odegaard in the 10. Well, he's not really a 10. He's a 8, 6, 8, whatever he is, but. The Arsenal finding it difficult at the moment to sort of get. That's why this Eze thing at the moment. You know, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Arsenal would not Arsenal aiming for Eze." I know someone who spoke to Eze. You know, he's 26 years old.
Yeah,
right. He's been brilliant at Crystal Palace this season. Yeah, he wants to come in, and he's just got in the England squad. Yeah. He ain't going to come in and be a bit part player, whether it's Arsenal, Man City, you know, or anybody. You know, so. Liverpool with Diaz leaves. There's a shout for Eze. Son has had his day. You know, Tottenham. Eze.
I see
Arsenal.
Not Arsenal. I see a Tottenham for Eze.
Yeah.
They've been trying to schmooze him for a little while, haven't they? They've invited him to games. He's been getting a bit close to probably sent out the scouts to i.e. James Maddison to have a little word in his ear, Agent Maddison. So you've been seeing that for a while. It wouldn't be a surprise if he went to Tottenham.
Man United a shout for Eze. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd be great on that left-hand side.
Bruno.
Bruno. Mount.
I see Eze.
But he's a left
since I've seen him come off for England, I see Eze his best position is the 10. I see him as a 10.
I see him as a 10 as well. Honestly,
on the left, he lacks that bit of pace and that little bit of directness. I think in the 10, you've got he has that directness in front of the goal. It's not that. He's not looking to cut in and shoot, whereas in that 10, he opens up and shoots more. And he's a very forward type player. I see him as the 10.
So that was a shock, wasn't it? That was a shock, wasn't it? With Elise going to Bayern. I never see that coming. I don't think
great move for both. I think it's a great move for both. I think it's a great move for Bayern Munich. I think it's a great move for Elise, if I'm honest.
I said that I'd be surprised who him and Eze. I said this at the start. They're both great players, but there's a lot of teams that don't really need that player at that price at the moment.
Yeah.
We spoke about. Sorry, come on.
Yeah, it's like unless you're going to a Newcastle or a Spurs or a Villa at the moment. Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, maybe Liverpool don't really need that player at the moment at that price, and you're not coming in as your first choice there either. So
I think I sent you a message saying I don't see, of all the teams that are linked with Elise, I don't see why he would leave. If I'm him, I'm staying another season. Why would I go Aston Villa? They've just got into the Champions League. There's no guarantee they're going to be there next season.
Just his age, isn't it?
Especially with teams like Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, all on the cusp of that Champions League spot, I wouldn't risk going to Aston Villa. Chelsea, why would you go Chelsea now? They've just got in a new manager. They've not had Champions League football for 2 seasons. We've seen how it went with Arsenal. There's no guarantee that they're going to get back in that spot, no matter how much money they throw at it. So I was looking at it, and I was saying, well, if I'm looking at that, the team who's most likely out of nowhere could potentially be a Man City. So it was even then I was thinking it needs to be a big team because there's consistency there in the Champions League, and when you look at it, Bernardo Silva's not a right winger. So they actually probably do need a right midfielder, and he could fit in there. All the other teams, it was just, no, they don't need him. It's not going to...
Well, he's got a release clause, isn't he? You know, Silva's asked to put in a release clause, you know, for this summer for 50 million. So if someone triggers that...
And Barcelona have been sticking around for the last, 3-4 seasons, haven't they?
Yeah. They want Nico Williams as well. I don't know where they're getting the money for this club.
I don't know where they're going to play. Where does who's the geezer they signed from Wolves? Nunes. Where's he playing?
Who? Man City.
Man City, yeah.
He ain't even got looking, is he?
He gets subs. He gets sub appearances. Yeah, he gets sub appearances.
He'll get. So you mentioned Aston Villa there. I mean, I thought, next season Champions League, let's go. But they've made some very strange signings. You know, Ross Barkley, Samuel Elling Jr. I mean, did they buy Weston McKennie and all?
Yeah,
they've lost Douglas Luiz.
Oh, is it not?
Douglas Luiz.
I thought it was part of the
not
part of the deal, but Douglas Luiz going one way, Weston McKennie's going the other. Is it not happening?
Well, the last time much better than me. The last time I read it wasn't happening. Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. But they brought in
it's dodgy.
And they brought
it's
in
dodgy. I think there's going to be a little bit of FFP issues with Aston Villa. Look at the signings they've made. Diaby, what's his name? Bailey. They brought in some big players. Who was Costa, the centre back, and a bit of player who was linked with some big clubs the last few seasons. They brought in big money signings, not necessarily the fees, but the wages these players are on, because they were players that a lot of clubs were sniffing around. So they've come in for big money. Aston Villa have always paid big money, and I've got a feeling there's going to be some cooking of the books. We've already seen Chelsea bring in paid half decent money, decent money for a player who's played 2 games for Aston Villa. I think you're going to see.
They might have
Is it a striker? I think you're going to see some dodgy deals going around.
Or bite the bullet. They might have to bite the bullet. Watkins.
They want Duran, don't they? From
Chelsea looking at Duran. Chelsea looking at Duran.
The last thing on there as well, though, they don't want to do a Leeds, go out, drop all this money, and then they're at the Champions League the next season. You know what I mean? So it might actually be a bit of full, because I think Barkley is a very shrewd signing. 5 million.
I think it's a good signing. I think
just
it's a good
Louise,
he had an excellent season last season. And I think
Chelsea just bought that Brazilian, don't they? Steve O put him on an 8-year contract.
Yeah, they just. And only last season they bought a £26 million centre midfielder from
19-year-old.
From Olympique Lyonnais. So they're doing that. They just bought in Dewsbury Hall. I don't know what's happening with Chelsea. It's an absolute
Dewsbury Hall.
shit show.
I mean, it's decent.
They've got 11 central midfielders. They just bought in another one. I don't know what's going on. They've got so many wingers. They're just trying to stockpile all the up-and-coming hot prospects from world football. It's just not going to work. Todd Bowley... it's just, I can't really talk about Chelsea because it just, I hate that club.
It was funny, as soon as Arsenal winning for Calafiori, Chelsea were in, weren't they?
Yeah, of course they were. They've got no backbone, spineless. They've got there's no blueprint to that team anymore. It's an absolute mess. I'll be glad if they just slowly die a miserable, slow, painful death.
Chelsea have just signed, by the way. Chelsea have just signed. Just put it on my phone. It's so weird. 8.5 mil. They've just signed Caleb Wiley from Atlanta.
Who?
United. Left back, 19-year-old left back with a contract to run until.
And who did they buy the other day? Who did they buy the other day?
They've
got
a 9-year contract. Yeah, it's Steve-O. Yeah, Steve-O. Yeah.
Steve-O.
I don't know what they're doing. It's a mess. Anyway, on that note, we've gone well over the show, an hour and 45-minute show today. That's one.
Bumper.
Yeah, you get extended time like we did with England. Gone into extra time this one.
Got into extra time.
But it
I
won't
hope
be going
it's far
to
more
penalties.
enjoyable. Yeah, I hope it's far more entertaining.
Yeah, I hope.
Who's winning? Just before we go, boys, who's winning tomorrow's semi-final? France
versus Spain. I think France will flukily get through.
Yeah, I do. And all.
I don't know why. It's just saying about. I don't want to face for Spain. Maybe that's what it is. I don't want to face Spain if we get.
I think Spain are winning, lads.
And I think that
they
France
should win, but I just think I agree with Keys.
If Spain turns up,
I think they'll fluke it. I think they'll fluke it.
Do you know what it is? It's Didier Deschamps. He's a very good manager, Didier Deschamps. Very defensively astute. France have been poor this tournament. They still managed to get results. And Spain drew to Italy, and Italy were pretty dog throughout.
Yeah. They haven't scored in open play or something. They've not scored one goal.
France ain't that all tournament.
France, they ain't.
One penalty, 2 on goals.
It'll be 0-0. It'll be 0-0. Extra time. France get through. That's what I see it. Mbappe scores the extra time winner. All right. That is all we have time for. Thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight. Make sure you press that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, press that like and press that share button. If you're watching on Twitter, hit that like and hit that retweet. We really appreciate it.
And jump on over and subscribe. Jump on over as well.
Jump on over and subscribe. Get into the comments section. You know what I mean? Jump on over. Jump over.
We don't buy it. Well, Garth might.
I was going to say,
definitely buy it.
Not hard. Yeah, not hard anyway.
Garth,
you know what I mean?
Garth Lewis. Definitely buy it. No, that's just right. Have you ever seen that video of the geezer and he's like hedonism and he's like
you sound like that. What do you sound like Matley? You sound like Matley.
That's the meme that said I got that dog in me. He's like
light show speed.
All right.
You got 526 people watching right now, and they're going, "What the hell are these?
What the hell's going on? These absolute
just a football show.
They're taking their pills today, is what's happening." Thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure.
All right, hit that like and subscribe, people. Make sure you join us for the post-match reaction. I don't know. Actually, let's be honest. I'm watching the game in the pub. Look, it's not beating around the bush.
We'll see you Thursday.
We'll see you Thursday because I'm watching the game in the pub. All right, and you don't want to see me when I've sunk about 4 or 5 beers and England are not doing well. You don't want to see me there. All right, you certainly don't want to see me after if we lose. All right, peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.